There we go. We're live. All right. Hey, guys. I am here with Spencer and Hannah, the founders and creators of PodClear. So, Spencer, why don't you give me there's 6 people in listening right now, so give me a sound check and they can tell me whether they can hear you or not.
All right. Can you hear me all right?
Can you guys hear Spencer all right? So, if you have questions about PodClear, we're going to answer them right here, and then this is going to be available later on my edbrophy.com website.
Cool.
So, Spencer, why don't you tell me a little bit about what PodClear is?
Yeah, of course. So PodClear is a piece of software that is used to record podcast interviews. It is unique in that it records independently on every single participant's computer within a call or an interview. So it's really simple. You just download it. Each person in the call downloads it. It records directly to their file system and then uploads after the call is complete. So what you get at the end is, instead of compressed Skype audio, which tends to sound a little bit choppy, you get completely clear audio that you can then edit and broadcast to your listeners.
So I haven't had a question asked yet, but Rawman, who's from Australia, and he does a little bit of podcasting in Australia, he's in the Hang With chat. And we haven't officially started recording this so maybe we should do that first. Let's do that first, and then I'm going to ask the question. So, guys, I'm going to flip the camera around, and you're going to see my screen, hopefully.
Have you already invited us to a recording session?
Not yet. You're going to walk me right through all that.
Awesome.
Let me get this on the other side of the mic real quick. Okay. So this is the PodClear thing. So, I'm going to invite Spencer, and I already know Spencer's information. So, Spencer, do you want to take this down while I'm not putting in your email?
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, guys, you're going to have to wait for Spencer. Let me do this, because I'm going to invite Spencer. So you saw me click the add participant and the other add participant thing come up.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to invite Spencer, and he is going to join this call. And how come it's not going, Spencer?
You want to restart the app and sign in again. We are in beta currently, so we're testing out a few of the sort of little quirks in the software. This is our second day in beta, so we've talked to a few beta users so far. We're getting really positive feedback, but there are some sort of kinks in the system. Sometimes the user objects get dropped. Once we have our more stable release, we'll be sort of sharing that with people and getting if it's something that works. So for now, just log back into the app. It's a common bug we've ran into a couple times today, and we've got a team working on it to fix it. So log back in and invite me to another session. Should be good to go.
Oh, damn it. I started signing in with last night's code. Okay. So
that's how it goes.
I know.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Wait till you're 100 years old like me. You'll be...
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to flip this around. So, hang on. Don't connect yet.
Okay, cool.
So they can see it. So I invited Spencer by hitting add participant. You see Spencer right there. So now, and it says disconnected right there. So now he's going to connect.
Right. So just to give a little walkthrough of what I'm seeing on my end as the guest, I just got an email in my inbox that says, Spencer, you've been invited to join Ed Brophy in a recording session. It has a link. In that link, if the user clicks on the link, it downloads the application, and then you are also given a guest PIN number. I just open the app, and I grab the guest PIN. I put it into the application, and I hit enter, and it brings me into the recording session with Ed. So if you can see on your screen, I should be connected in the session.
Yep, you just connected.
Awesome. So the cool part about this on my end, I've got a little checklist that says make sure your mic is working, make sure you're wearing headphones, and wait for the host to start the session. What's cool about this is you actually get control, like remote control over every single participant's computer in the session. So if you can have unlimited participants in any session. If you have 10 people in the call, when you hit record on your end as the interviewer, everyone in the call's computer starts recording simultaneously. So you don't have to do any of that like 3, 2, 1, hit record type of stuff that people do typically on double enders.
Let's hang on that, because
pretty cool in that sense.
Let's hang on that because
I'm
also going to post this. So we're going to, for you guys on Hang With, we're going to repeat a little bit of this stuff,
Mm.
and then we'll get into the rest of it. So
Got it. Cool.
So I'm going to start recording. So
Yep.
Now I hit record, so it's recording on your computer as well as my computer, correct?
Correct. And what's happening now is, so we're getting raw, uncompressed audio streaming directly into the file system on both my computer and your computer. So if you notice, there's no latency in our call now. No one's getting cut up, or the Skype call isn't affected at all because nothing's actually going through the network. So as we're recording this, we could pause the session perhaps if you hit the pause button.
I'm not going to pause it just yet, but hang on, because we have started this before we started recording. So I am talking to Spencer Handley from PodClear and his beautiful girlfriend, Hannah. And we were talking about PodClear real quick again. Spencer, give the people who weren't on Hang With. And if they want to see, before he does that, if you want to see the beginning of it and see the PodClear application, go to hangwith.me/Brophy. It's my social media handle, and look for the PodClear broadcast, and you can go look at it. So real quick, give them a rundown what PodClear is, and then we'll go into the rest of it where we left off.
Yeah, so PodClear is an end-to-end recording system for podcast interviews. It's a really simple way to basically automate the whole double-ender process that podcasters go through. So what it does is it allows you to invite participants, as many as you'd like, and then simultaneously record on all of their computers with lossless audio, upload the audio after the call so that you as the podcaster can edit them together, and you get completely crystal clear audio quality when you go to broadcast that podcast.
So now that we're live on this one, so one of the questions that I had that just popped into my mind, thinking raw man ahead of my thoughts, is raw man's in Australia.
Okay.
And you guys on Hang With, yes, it is podclear.com. Go sign up for the beta. But raw man's in Australia. He does some podcasting. So technically, is this available for people outside of the U.S.?
It is available for everybody, yes.
So, raw man, go sign up.
Yeah. If you sign up now, you'll get on the beta list. We'll be releasing an early version of it within the next week or so. We did give Ed sort of early access because he's volunteered to sacrifice himself to be the beta user and deal with all of our early bugs. But as we get these kinks worked out, we are going to release a more stable version. And if you sign up now, you'll get access to that stable version.
And Jamie's saying the sound is amazing, but Jamie, that's just my computer. That's not PodClear. And they want to know, one of the other questions that came in real quick is, what if people are in the same room? Can you still use it? Well, I would say no, it would defeat the whole purpose.
Yeah, you wouldn't. You can, but you wouldn't get independent tracks for each of those people. The purpose behind the software is basically you get independent, clear audio from every participant in the call. If you had two people in the same room and no remote guests, then you should just use a nice condenser with a mixer and just sort of do it the traditional way. This is primarily for remote interviews, which is what a lot of podcasters are doing nowadays.
So actually, I just noticed something that from last night, because Spencer and I did a call last night with Jamie, but Jamie wasn't recorded on the call. I didn't start do the new session this time around. There was one up there that said my first session. So is that what it's recording on for me?
Right. So it defaults to my first session if you don't create one. If you create, you can have unlimited sessions, but when you create one, you can subdivide it that way and sort of make a new session if you want to record something else. And so now we're recording in my first session.
Okay. So let me ask you. So this is uploading, just so we all understand it. Hey, Dave, you might want to talk to this guy Spencer for some stuff. He's got some great sound stuff going on. Dave is in the Hang With chat, and he is one of the founders of Hang With.
Cool. Awesome. Hey, Dave.
Let's see. Rawman said he seems to be hung up on the sign up.
Yep. So we are getting a lot of traffic right now. Sometimes we're using GoDaddy for our landing page, and sometimes it gets hung up. If you just give it another shot, it'll work. Otherwise, if it doesn't work after you try again, just send an email directly to Hannah@podclear.com, and she'll hook you up, and we'll give you early access and stuff. So.
Oh, he's all good now. So
perfect. Yeah, it's a little funny lately.
Right. So it seems like you guys have been doing a lot, and we've been kind of talking about it. But so let's say I've done a show.
Yeah.
And my computer crashes.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Can I go back to PodClear and get my old audio?
Definitely, yeah. So what happens is, I wanted to just sort of step back. It is currently not uploading to the server. So while we're having this call, this is all being streamed into your hard drive itself. So if anything happens to the call, like the application crashes or the computer dies or you close it accidentally or something happens, you will be able to open the app afterward. The system automatically goes in to grab that whatever data was stored and uploads it to the server as sort of like a safety net. So you don't have any chances of like losing this audio. It's very safe to record your podcast on. And it does that for each of the guests as well. So and there's also backup measures that basically send them an email if their session hasn't been uploaded for like 24 hours. So we'll walk through this in a second, but when you hit finish and sync, everyone should sync simultaneously. But if theirs doesn't for whatever reason, they'll get a reminder to like just open up PodClear. That's all they'll have to do. Open it up. It'll sync to the server, and then you'll be able to get access to that afterward.
So that was one of my questions after we spoke last night. Is when I hit finish and sync.
Yep.
Which we'll do at the end, and then we'll make this available on Brophy.com. So when I hit finish and sync, I'm getting today. I'll get your file and my file, 2 separate files.
Correct.
And I'll get a merged file.
Yes, you will.
Okay, so my question on the finish and the sync is the finish and sync, it's obviously syncing and doing everything with the merged file. But when I go into whether I'm using Audacity or GarageBand or whatever I'm using to edit my audio, I can just drop the 2 separate files in, or do I have to maneuver them around?
So there's a couple different things. So you will have granular control. This becomes really, really cool when you have like 5 or 6 callers and like one person's audio is a little bit weird and you want to hop in there and like, adjust their lows or like put a little bit more compression on their voice or fix it anyway if they're like called in or something.
Right.
Or if their audio is just weird. You get granular control over all of those things. But one of the main issues that podcasters have if they do these double enders, which is a pretty common practice, is you get this thing called drift, where the audio itself sort of like falls out of sync because the system clocks aren't totally aligned, and one computer might record slightly faster than another. And we are writing an algorithm currently to adjust for that drift. So we have a couple people working on it. It is not in the beta version. So this early version, we just wanted to get it out the door, get some feedback. It will be in later versions. And what you'll get at the end of that are files that don't have any drift, as well as a mixed version with drift compensation that is a merged file of all of the audio files in that session. Yep.
All right. So with the separate files, though, do I have to go in and line them up so that we're not talking over one another, or
you could? So the mixed file will be lined up. The mixed file will have all of those tracks together, but the independent files, if you wanted to, you could use those independent files and do it manually. We give you that ability, and we'll give you free access to all of those files.
Okay.
It depends on what you want as a podcaster. Like sometimes we have some beta users that are engineers, and they want that sort of fine-tuned control over every single person, so that they can, if someone says something and I don't know, they're maybe talking over each other, you can literally just cut out that part of one person talking over the other, and it'll sound like no one's talking over each other.
Right, and that's what I was getting at, because a lot of times, like I am actually guesting on a show on Monday the 2nd, where we're going to be talking about one of my favorite charities, Reality Rally, and Hang With is one of the big sponsors of Reality Rally. And
great.
Of course, Jamie and I will be down there, so we'll pimp out PodClear down there as well for you guys, as this whole thing today is obviously being sponsored by PodClear, but all TV Fish Bowls and my own personal at Brophy.com podcast will all be sponsored by PodClear. So
yeah, absolutely.
So everything is going to come in hand. But so that was my question, is a lot of times, you get people who are really low and they can't hear them. So you want to go in and adjust it.
Right.
So
you get that kind of granular control with the audio files that we deliver.
Yeah, and Rawman's asking, is it an MP3 download?
It is a WAV. It's a gzip WAV file. So it's a zipped up WAV, and you just unzip it. The reason it's gzipped is because it's smaller and it can be transferred over the wire faster, but it's still in compressed audio. Then you unzip it and you get a WAV file, and it's you can totally convert it into whatever format you want, but it starts as a WAV.
So do you guys in Hang With have any questions for Spencer while we have him? Let's see. Who am I? Andre? I'm just a dude who runs a website, an entertainment website, and I'm also a social media manager, and I hang out with celebrities, and we're talking about PodClear. Go to podclear.com, find out more about it, or tune in back to this broadcast when it's ended, and you can hear all about PodClear.
Cool.
The difficulty of doing two things at once.
Yeah.
So they can find you at podclear.com.
Yeah, we're also on Twitter at PodClearTweets.
And anywhere else?
Those are the best places to reach us. If you want to send us a direct email, you can send it to hannah@podclear.com. We also have a blog as well.
Spell Hannah for them.
HANNAH, Hannah.
At podclear.com.
Correct.
And your blog is where?
The blog is accessible on the website. It's podclear.com/blog.
Okay. So anything else you want these guys to know?
That's just about it. We're still in early beta, so we'd love to hear your opinions. We're on beta list. We're launching on Product Hunt soon. So keep your eye out. And we'd love to hear some feedback. We got a few hundred people signed up now to participate in this early beta round, and we're super excited, very responsive, and looking forward to hearing your thoughts.
And the people who didn't make the cut as early as I did, are you doing the beta in waves, inviting people in?
We can talk about if they send us a message and seem enthusiastic and want to give some good feedback, we'd be happy to work with them. We definitely want to get the most constructive feedback that we can this early on.
All right. And Rawman, an Australian audiophile, he wants to know, how many separate tracks does it record to download?
How many separate tracks does it record to download? So you can have unlimited participants, and for every participant, you can have one audio file. So their voice will be on its own track, and then you will also get the mixed audio recording. So you will have as many participants in the call plus one for the mixed version.
So if I have 20 participants, I'm going to get 21 files, the mixed file and 20 files for each individual.
That is correct.
Person. Yeah. See, that's the cool thing about it. It takes away all the work. Because I'm one of those guys, I don't like to edit. And I know you talked to Jamie last night, and he's an editor. And he likes to edit. But I'm not the editing guy. I'm the guy, because I do most of my stuff live. So, I'm not going to edit this. I'm actually just going to take a raw file, throw it up, and put it on the website with a quick little 300 words and be done. Because when you go live, a lot of times you say stuff, and people go, hey, you need to go listen to that. And then you go to listen to it, and because they edit it, they edit out the curse words or whatever, you don't... And
time shortens and all that stuff, yeah. So it's harder to reference a part of the track.
Right.
So we get that.
So when can we buy stock in PodClear?
You can wire all money to my PayPal account, or you can send me a check that doesn't have your name on it. I'd be happy to take that money. Just kidding.
Hey, you should start selling shares in it.
We haven't thought about taking investment at this point, but we are, we're just bootstrapping. We're 2 engineers, and we've got Hannah's rocking on Twitter and responding to emails and being super responsive. So we are probably not going to raise money unless it becomes completely necessary, because we've just got plenty of resources to make it happen ourselves.
Really?
Really? Yep.
Really? Well, you can cut me a check for advertising for you now.
Oh, no.
So, one other question that, because I'm going to tell you one of the things I want, but one other question I noticed when I signed in, that it was, that you had some price figures there. So what is your expected pricing on this for the people who don't make it or who aren't interested in...
It's a good question. It's a good question. We don't have clear as stuff. Oh, can you hear me all right? It's cutting out a little bit on my side.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit, but we're good.
Okay. Yeah, we should have PodClear for this call. Oh, wait, we do.
We do.
For pricing, we haven't made a firm decision on it. Right now, we're just focusing on making a stable product, getting into people's hands and getting feedback. long run, work on a session basis, so you'll be able to purchase sets of sessions. So you have unlimited length, so you can have a 2-hour session, you can have a 20-minute session, doesn't really matter. It'll be on a monthly subscription, and we've talked about some $8, $12, and $20 level. I don't know how many sessions will come in that. We also want
hang on.
So like if you,
hey, here's a perfect thing. Let me pause this right now and call you back because we are getting a lot of latency and you're cutting out every other word.
Okay.
So hang on, I'll call you right back.
Sounds good.
See, guys, you are getting firsthand. Not a lot of people know about the PodClear. So some of the stuff you cut out on, it's actually going to repeat itself in the live recording and the recording that's going on to Brophy.com. And it's ringing. So if you guys have any questions, hey, Micah, how you doing?
Hey, Ed, can you hear me better?
I can hear you better, so let me continue the recording.
Awesome.
All right, so again, because we had to pause it because we were getting some latency with Skype.
Yeah, there's the problem right there.
Talk to me, money.
Yeah, so as I was saying before, we don't have a clear pricing model in place. We've talked about some numbers at the $8, $12, and $20 level. We don't know how many sessions will be included in that, but we have talked about making special packages for networks if they want to provide PodClear for all of their podcasters as like an extra perk for being in the network. We will work with them, but send us an email at hannah@podclear.com and we can kind of discuss the possibility of that.
So it's not going to be like a, $10 a month gets you so many hours.
It's going to be
$50 gets you unlimited amount per month.
It is going to be similar to that. There are going to be tiers, but it'll work instead of hours. It'll work in sessions, just because it gets complicated. If you're like, I don't know, you bought 5 hours, you've used 4.5, and you want to do a podcast, is it going to cut out at like the 30-minute mark of the last podcast? It gets really weird. We'd rather make it clean sessions, and you can take as much time as you want. That's the decision that we've made on that. And we also have some packages that we're looking into for audio engineers. So if you're an engineer that edits audio for other podcasters, we have a few people that are beta users for us that are going to purchase a package where basically they can give sub accounts to all of the podcasts that they edit, those podcasters won't have to pay. They will just pay the engineer, and the engineer will get access to all of those audio files. So we're thinking about a few different ideas. We're experimenting.
Well, that would be cool, because Jamie and I used to work do recaps for another site that has since gone out of business. But yeah, we did all the recording, and we sent it in, and they had editors take care of it for us. So one question I'm getting on Hang With, is there a file size limit? Can I record for 17 hours if I want to, or am I limited to an amount of time?
Yeah, it's a good question. There is not a file size limit per se. The only limitation is it's just syncing time, right? So it'll show a syncing progress bar, but the way that this works and the reason that you get uncompressed audio is because it syncs after the call is complete. So if you've got a guest on the line who is on a tight schedule, it takes about 5 minutes to sync these files after like an hour-long Skype chat. But if you chat for 5 hours, it's going to take a little bit longer, and they'll have to leave the application open. Like we said earlier, it will sync like old files. So if they close the app and don't have time to sync that day, they can open it tomorrow and sync then, but you won't get access to those files until they sync. It's just more sync time is the answer to that question.
And just to be clear, because I don't think we were really clear about this in the beginning, your recording is actually recording locally on your computer. My recording is recording locally on my computer.
It is doing exactly what you would do in a double ender, but it is automating all of the processes, so your guests don't have to stress about downloading software or using QuickTime and then uploading to Dropbox and then sending you a link, and all of that stuff is literally 2 clicks. They're in, they start recording, you've got control over start and end times, and then they're done. They never have to think about it again. So that's really early on the pain point that we're solving for podcasters, and that's why we think it's so cool.
So basically what you're doing away with is the...
Exactly.
Let's go.
Yeah, that whole thing where you have to like hear your voice on the other end and the 3, 2, 1, hit record, all that stuff is, if you're a professional podcaster, it probably seems really silly to do that stuff. Like it should be streamlined. You should have the right tools to do it. So that's what we built.
Well, cool. So now I'm going to flip for the guys on Hang With.
Okay.
I'm going to flip the camera back. And I am now going to hit finish and sync. So when I hit finish and sync, and you guys that are listening to this after the fact, you're going to kind of miss some of this. And on the repeated stuff that you heard Spencer repeat, it was because Skype was getting so bad. And I actually paused the recording, and we came back in and picked up where he left off explaining possible pricing structure. So I'm going to hit finish and sync. So you guys that are listening to this after the fact, again, you can go to hangwith.me/Brophy, which is all of my social media handles, and see the actual video. So I hit finish and sync, and it's going to give me the little spinny wheel that says sync.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening on my end as well. So I see a dialog that says syncing. It's got the little spinny wheel that you see. It says important, do not close this window until syncing has finished. And I have no other controls on this screen. So it's just syncing up to the cloud. It'll probably take, a minute or two here. I think we talked for 15 minutes or so. So that'll sync up. And then when you get to the complete stage, you'll see all those files available to you to download.
Now, the one thing we do have to remember is last night I didn't name it correctly.
Oh, right. Yeah. So for now, you have to leave the extension .wave.gz at the end. The reason for that is it is a gzip file, so the computer needs to know how to handle it. And the .gz gives the computer the indication to handle it that way.
So on, just out of curiosity, just my own type thing. Oh, I forgot to give you my suggestion, but I did put it in my feedback from yesterday.
Awesome.
How do you suggest people name their files?
Yeah, that's actually an interesting discussion because if you have like 10 participants, you don't really want a file that's like, Joe, Steve, Kevin, all the names in the list and then like the time. You kind of just want the name of the session and then the person. So that's probably how we'll do it. It'll be like Spencer Handley, the name of the session, my first session, and then the time, and then that .wave, right? That's most likely how we'll organize it, but we're open to feedback on that as well. Naming conventions are kind of important.
So you guys are going to eventually name it, and I won't have to name it.
We'll do it automatically. Yeah. Again, this is very early. We've been coding for a month and a half on this, so and only 2 software engineers working full time and other things. So we'll get to that, and we know it's important.
So. Yo.damn-lag is asking, this is for both Mac and PC, correct?
It is. We've tested it on Windows 7 and Windows 8, and we have tested it on OS X, the latest version. We've also tested it on an 07 iMac, so an older version. It runs a little bit slower on there, but that's just because the computer is old, so it took like a couple of seconds to open on that guy's computer. So yeah, it's pretty compatible with our beta users. We're hoping to like experiment with some other operating systems, some older versions of Windows. We don't own any computers like that, so I haven't actually been able to test it. So on my end, the file has completed sync. So yours might be a little bit slower because you're simultaneously Skyping me and streaming live. So it might have taken a little longer, but on my end, I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK, and that exits the application altogether. Now we're back at the login screen, and I can close my app, and it's just fine.
See, I still show syncing. So today, I know last night I didn't get the combined file with your little updating that you guys did overnight. Will I get the combined file today?
So we have not released that version of the software yet. So currently, we do have those audio files on the server, and within the next 24 hours or so, we're going to get mixing working. There's a little bit of there's a technical hurdle there that we're getting over. We know the solution, but we just need man hours to solve it. Right. It has to do with the drift that we were talking about. So we have not released our solution to drift yet, but we are working on it, and we'll have it done by the time we have a commercial launch.
So for these guys, I'm complete. I hit OK.
Yep.
Syncing is complete, and we'll notify you via email when all parties have successfully synced their audio. So we've all done it. So here is the screen. So this is blank. This is what I was asking about. This is the full, complete set of both of our audio files together, synced together.
Right. So that's not available. If you click on it, it won't go to anything. I wouldn't click on it.
Right.
And then if you click on your name first, that'll download your gzip file, and you'll have to choose a location to put it.
So I'm going to go with, because I named you last night as Spencer, I'm going to go with Spencer1. What am I doing?
.wave.gz. Yeah.
.gz.
Mm-hmm.
Did I do that right? Because I'm looking at it through a camera.
Yeah.
So I'm just throwing that into my document, guys. There it is right there. There's the one that we did last night.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just going to come over here and do the same thing with this one. Oop, I better name that one so that I don't override my stuff from last night. All right, so you guys can hang with. Any last questions for Spencer? And Spencer, any last thing you want to get out to these guys?
Yeah, just feel free to reach out to us on Twitter, reach out to us via email. We would love feedback, and we would love to get you in this early beta and sit down and have a phone call with you. I'd love to get to know you and know about your podcast and all that good stuff. And
how many people are you letting into the first beta round? Or you have?
We don't have a number specifically. We're just looking for people who are excited about it. So if it seems like someone's just like, I'll give it a shot, we probably won't bring them into our beta. We want people who are enthusiastic about sharing feedback and being critical of the product, because we want to make it something that will be sustainable and will actually solve the problem for the community.
Cool. Well, this will be up on brophy.com later today, or maybe in the morning, because I want to go out and get something to eat.
Cool. Yeah, I got to do the same.
And questions, hannah@podclear.com. And I think that's it. I think we're good. So,
awesome.
Thanks for your time. You guys out there on Hang With, go follow them, PodClear Tweets on Twitter. Maybe we'll get them on Hang With, and they can do some Hang With instruction videos for you guys.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Other than that, I will hang with you guys later.
Sounds good. Thanks for having us on. We really appreciate it.